Hi, good morning, students. I'm sorry I'm late today. Okay, so you can see the screen, right? You can see the Chrome tab on your screen. This is the same diagram that we were discussing during the last 2 days. On Thursday, we had a mess and you could not hear my voice properly. So I will explain this once again today. Okay. So in the meanwhile, while explaining, if you can write, you should write also. Okay, if you can follow and write at the same time, then you can write. Otherwise, this is already uploaded in Moodle. You can try out from there also. Okay, am I audible properly? Tell me. Just one of you unmute and tell me, am I audible properly? Is my voice low?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
miss.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'll explain this graph once again. Okay, and before I explain, let me tell you we are doing it for the normal goods. Okay, and inferior and given goods we will do it separately. We are doing this for the normal goods only. Substitution effect, income effect, and price effect for the normal goods. Okay. Now see, suppose we started with the concept of indifference curve, then we moved on to indifference map, and then we understood the concept of budget line. Okay, so that concept of indifference curve and budget line will be applied here in order to determine the substitution effect, price effect, and income effect. That concept of indifference curve and the budget line will be utilized here. Okay, so I will start from the beginning itself, okay? So that it cannot be started from the middle because it all are linked. That's why I'm starting from the beginning. So first you will draw one line that is PQ. That will be a budget line, okay? Then you will draw a indifference curve I1, okay? And this I1 and this budget line PQ will be tangent to the indifference curve I1 at the point R. So first you will draw these two things. One is your budget line, that is PQ, and one is the indifference curve I1, and you will make the budget line tangent to the indifference curve I1 at the point R, capital R. Okay, so R is your point of equilibrium that we saw while understanding the concept of budget line, that when the budget line is tangent to a indifference curve, the point of tangency is called the point of equilibrium for the consumer, right? So R is the point of equilibrium. Now let us assume that the price of good X is falling. That means good X price, good X quantity which we have plotted in the X axis, and good Y's quantity we have plotted in the Y axis. Out of these two good, the price of good X is falling. Okay, if it falls, price of the good X falls, then what will be the impact on the real income of the consumer? His purchasing power will increase because he can buy more number of goods of more number of unit of good X with the same amount that he was paying previously, because the price of good X has fallen, right? That's why, assuming that concept that price of good X has fallen, there will be a shift in the budget line. Okay, thus we will form a new budget line and we name it as PQ1. Previously it was PQ. Now we are naming the new budget line as PQ1. We are shifting the budget line. But this point P is not changing because of the reason that price of good X has good Y has not changed. Price of good X has fallen. That is why the budget line is shifting rightward. But the price of good Y has not changed. That's why it is at the point P only. Okay, so we are drawing a new budget line and naming it as PQ1. Then what will be your next step? After drawing this PQ and indifference curve I1, you will have to draw a new budget line and from the point P itself, but you will shift the point Q to Q1 now on the x-axis. Okay, so PQ1 is our new budget line, and an indifference curve I2 is the tangent one. Is the indifference curve I2 is now the new indifference curve, and this budget line PQ1 is becoming tangent to the indifference curve I2 at the point T. Now the new equilibrium position has become turned out to be point T. All right. Now this shift, okay, this shift that is happening from the point R to the point T. There is a shift. The point is moving from R to the point T. This movement or this shift is called the substitution effect. Okay, this shift is called the substitution effect. Now, if we draw a perpendicular line from this point R and T, then we will see that the perpendicular is touching the x-axis at the point B. We will draw perpendicular from the point R and from the point T, and we will draw the perpendicular on the x-axis, and it will touch the x-axis at the point B and E respectively. Okay. So this movement, either you say that the movement is from R to T, or you say that the movement is from B to E. All right. This this movement from the point B to E is called, sorry, I mentioned it as substitution effect. No, this is not substitution effect. Okay, this is price effect. Firstly, when we are shifting, no, why the shift is happening? Due to the change in price, isn't it? Due to the change in price of product X, the shift is happening. That's why this shift is called the price effect, not the substitution effect. I'm sorry. It is called a price effect. Okay, because this shift is happening due to the change in price. Thus, this movement from R to T or from B to E on the horizontal axis is the price effect. Of what? Price effect of the fall in the price of X, right? With the fall in the price of X, the consumer's real income changes, or we can say that the real income of the consumer increases. All right, now this is a natural movement in the consumer's real income, which has increased. But we want to see what is the effect of substitution here, if it happens. Thus, in order to establish the substitution effect from the presence of price effect, what we will do is we will forcefully bring down the real income or the purchasing power of the consumer. And we will do it by making the compensating variation in income. So you will have to mention this term, okay? To make the compensating variation in income, in order to isolate the substitution effect, the consumer's money income or the real income is reduced equivalent to PM of Y or Q1N of X. Now what Q1X, Q1N, or on the x-axis, or PM or PM. You see on the y-axis the point PM. We will now decrease the budget line. Okay, what we are saying that we want to forcefully decrease the budget line or the real income of the consumer and bring down the budget line. Previously it was PQ, then it shifted to PQ1. Now we will bring down that budget line with a parallel movement. Okay, from PQ1 we'll shift this PQ1 to a new point called M and N, which will be a parallel line to PQ1, but it will be drawn at a lower area in the graph. All right, so MN we are drawing, and this is a budget line that we are drawing. This is parallel to PQ1, and we have to draw it in such a way that it becomes tangent to the old indifference curve, that is I1. Okay, so MN we will draw parallel to the budget line PQ1, and we will draw it in such a way that it will touch the old indifference curve at a point, and that point will be called 8. All right, you have to draw it, you have to practice this drawing, okay? Otherwise, at single go, it will not come. This exact diagram may not come. So you have to draw it properly. You do one thing, you draw this diagram till this one and write this line. You can see on your screen now the movement from this one. You just draw it, okay? you need to have a habit of it. Let us go slow, no problem. Our session will be prolonged till the month of March. So we have a lot of time. Let us do one thing. You draw this diagram and write these lines, okay? I'm giving you 3 minutes time till 9:07. I'm giving 4 minutes, okay? You draw this diagram. At least draw the diagram. Writing part you can do after us. At least draw this diagram till the one which I have told you. That means first you will draw PQ, then you will draw I1, then you will draw PQ1, then you will draw I2, then you will draw MN. And you will draw MN in such a way that it will be tangent to the old indifference curve. Okay, just do it. I'll be back at 9:07. Okay, I'll start again at 9:07. I want all of you to finish this diagram till the one I told you. Till MN you do. So PQ, I1, PQ1, I2, then M1, MN, you will draw in such a way that it will be tangent to the previous indifference curve I1 at a point 8, which will also have to be lower than the previous equilibrium point. So check to copy the diagram, but draw it properly in your own hand, with your own hand, okay? So that you have a habit of drawing this type of diagram. Do it. I'll again start at 9:07. 3 minutes time you have. Draw till MN. Yes, so have you drawn? Tell me, have you drawn? Could you draw it properly? Unmute and tell me, could you draw it properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Others, one or two, just tell me whether you have drawn or not. One or two at least, whether you have drawn. Okay, fine. So, the task was to draw till Mn, right? And it will touch the old indifference curve I1 at a new point H, which will be lower than the R. Okay. Previously, the equilibrium point was at R at the very first point. So this H, when you are drawing, it should be at a lower side than R. It will be, because if you draw a parallel from line to PQ1, it will automatically be at a lower point. The equilibrium will be at a lower point than R. Okay. So this let us see what this movement called. Okay. Now this movement from the point R to H on the I1 curve. Now we are talking about the movement from R to H on the same indifference curve I1. Okay, this movement from R to H is nothing but the substitution effect. Okay, this is called the substitution effect, whereby the consumer increases his purchase of X from the point B to D. How we are getting this B and D? B we already got by drawing perpendicular from the point R on the x-axis, and from the H on the x-axis we'll draw another perpendicular called D, and this movement from this point B to D is called the increase in the purchase of good X on the horizontal axis. Now how is the consumer increasing his purchase of X? He is substituting. He is substituting X for Y because it is cheaper now. Okay, so he is increasing his purchase of good X because its price has fallen, and he is doing it by substituting for Y. Why? Because X is cheaper. That's why. It may be noted that when there is a fall or rise in the price of good X, the substitution effect will always lead to an increase or decrease in its quantity demanded. That means if price increases, demand will fall. That means this quantity of X purchased due to the substitution effect will fall. And if price decreases of good X, the substitution, the increase, the change in the quantity demanded of X will give a positive result, as it will increase because the price of X has fallen. All right. So this is an inverse relationship. If the price of X increases, the substitution effect will be substitution effect will always be negative. Okay, if price increases, the quantity demanded of X will fall due to the substitution effect, and if price decreases, the quantity demanded of X will rise due to substitution effect. And this substitution effect is having an inverse relationship, is causing an inverse relationship rather between price and quantity demanded. And the substitution effect of a price change is always negative. This is something like the concept of elasticity of demand. When price increase, demand decrease, price decrease, demand increase. It is like that. Okay. So substitution effects sign will also be negative always. And here we are assuming that the real income has been held constant because I1 we have not changed. If I2 we would have considered, that would have been a change in the real income of the consumer, but we are keeping the real income of the consumer at I1. Thus, we are holding that real income, we are assuming that the real income of the consumer has not changed, but the quantity demanded of X has changed because the consumer is now substituting the good X for Y. Why? Because price of good X is cheaper than Y now. All right. This theorem, this particular concept of this substitution effect being negative or being inversely proportional or or creating inversely proportional relationship is called Slutsky theorem. Okay, this is known as Slutsky theorem, and it has been named after the economist Slutsky, who has first stated it in relation to the law of demand. He is the first one to state this substitution effect, which is in relation to the law of demand. As I told you, that this is similar to the law of demand. So in law of demand also this substitution effect prevails. This has been firstly stated by Slutsky. That's why this theorem has been named after him. All right. Okay, so till this you should write in your copy tonight. Okay, this is uploaded already in your Moodle. You can download the link from there. You can see this link, and this part, no, look at my screen. Look at the screen that has been shared. Till this point, till this Slutsky theorem line, named after Slutsky, who first stated it in relation to the law of demand, till this much you should draw in your copy. And this diagram, don't draw it in so much complicated way. Till the point which I have explained, that means till the point H, drawing perpendicular, draw till that in your copy. Those who did not draw during the class time. All right. So this is your homework for today. You should understand it properly. It is very easy. If you understand it properly, no, you can write on your own words. Yesterday, not yesterday, last week, someone of you was really concerned about whether you have to draw this diagram and explain. I think you were quite scared because of this concept. There's nothing to be scared of. Okay, if you understand this concept properly, no, you can write it in your own words and explain the graph very well. All right. So you have to attend the classes properly. Follow me properly. Otherwise, you won't be able to write it on your own, and you have to mug up the diagram. If you understand it, you don't have to mug up also. You can write it on your own sweet words. Okay. So from today onwards, I'll be taking live attendance. So all of you should unmute when your name will be called, okay, and respond. Abhay Sharma, and those who are saying yes ma'am, they will leave the class and join the next class. Okay, you may not stay. You just say yes ma'am, respond to your names and leave the room and join the next class. Okay, I'm starting. Abhay, Aditya Shaha, Alsaba Anwar.
Yes, ma'am.
Aman Goel, Aman Sharma, Ananta, Angela.
Yes, ma'am.
Anish, Anisha,
Yes, ma'am.
Ankit, Ankit Kitania, Anmol,
Yes, ma'am.
Anmol Lama, Bhavesh, Vikash,
Yes, ma'am.
Vishwadeep,
Yes, ma'am.
Charu, Chirag.
Miss, even I am present.
Who is this?
Miss Ananta.
Ananta. Okay. Chirag is present. Deepika. Deepika. Girish.
Yes, ma'am.
Himani.
Present, ma'am.
Jaya. Kashish.
Ma'am, present.
Who is this?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Abhay here.
Abhay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. From tomorrow onwards, be quite attentive, okay? While the class attendance, it will be live attendance. Jaya, Kashish. Kashish was present, no? Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
Mehul, Mosammad or Mohammed. Mosammad, Parveen,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Muskan Agarwal.
Yes, ma'am.
Again Muskan Agarwal. 2821 and 2859.
Ma'am, 2859.
Okay. Neha.
Present, ma'am.
D'accord. Nikhil.
Yes, ma'am.
Nishita. Nupur.
Present, ma'am.
Piyush. Pragati. Prageshwar. Prashant.
Present, ma'am.
Pratham.
Present, ma'am.
Priti.
Present, ma'am.
Poonam.
Yes,
Ronak.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ravi. Riant Francis.
Ma'am, I'm present.
Yes, ma'am.
Ria. Rohan.
Ma'am, I'm also present.
Who is this?
Ma'am, Ravi.
Yeah, given. Rohan. Ronak. Sahil. Shama.
Yes, ma'am.
Trixie.
Yes, ma'am.
Neha. Saurav.
Present,
Saurav
ma'am.
Agarwal. Srishti. Suhana.
Yes, ma'am.
Sujit.
Ma'am, there are two Srishtis. Which one did you?
There are two Srishtis. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
Srishti Tamang now.
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Okay. Suvneet.
Present, ma'am.
Swati.
Present, ma'am.
Swayam. Tanya.
Yes, ma'am.
Yash.
Present,
Yashika.
ma'am.
Okay.
Present, ma'am.
All right. Fine. You can
Ma'am, you
leave
did
and
not call
join.
out my name.
What is your name?
Ankit Kithania. Actually, I had
Yeah,
some
I called.
network
I
issue.
called.
I had
called
some
your
network
name.
issue, so I could not hear.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye bye, students. You can join the next class. See you tomorrow.